Now there is another thing which is important, which for me is important, is the side in Hassan Al-Banna that is completely neglected from many of the followers, which was not the political side, is the spiritual side. He was deeply, deeply, deeply spiritual. Someone who was, you know, trying to follow in the footsteps of the Prophet by praying during the night, by being very involved in this dimension, which is, at the end of the day, spirituality is the essential thing in everything we are doing. You can be political activists, but if at the end we are political activists only, you are going to end up agitated human beings. And this is not what God is willing. It's not to be agitated human beings, it's to have a center, it's to be spiritual. It's to be spiritual. And to tell you the truth, because you are talking about my grandfather on the side of my mother was the teacher and the spiritual father of my father, rahimahullah. Tariq Ramadan was educated by Hassan Al-Banna. This is how he afterward married my mother, the eldest daughter of Hassan Al-Banna. And I saw him during the last years when he was in Geneva, just always repeating that you might sometimes have problem with the organization, but the essential message that he got from his teacher, Hassan Al-Banna, was the spiritual dimension. That whatever, you know, he was someone who was educating in a very specific way. He was looking at people in a very specific way. Just to tell you a story, which is the way his relationship with my father. Once my father missed the Fajr prayer early in the morning. And he came to see my grandfather. He didn't pray on time, he prayed late. And he looked at him straight in the eyes and said, "Ya Sa'id, the Fajr prayer is on time." It's as if he was connected at that level. This is the spirituality. So all the business about, you know, elections, power, sometimes just wait and think about the essential thing of your life. And it's good to remember this just a few days before Ramadan. So forget a bit about power during Ramadan and think about, you know, the power of spirituality. Wallahu a'lam. So quickly, because there are. Oh yes, what you were saying about. No, before that there was a question about should we listen to others, and this is the way you know, first, we should listen to as much as we can, from within and from outside, from within and from abroad. So I'm not at all advocating the fact that whatever the West is saying that we have to listen. I'm very critical of what is happening, and you have seen in my talk, but if you look and read the books and you go on the website, you can see, for example, that I am critical with the West. But I will never avoid a good questions. I will never avoid a good criticism. I would never avoid something that can help me to be better. At the end of the day, the other are helping me to be more myself. When I was in South America and I was seeing the liberation theologians, the way they were dealing with the poor, they helped me to be a better Muslim because I came back to Islam. And this is what the Quran is saying. Let the other help you to be better yourself. So you should listen to them. You should learn from them. This is the intellectual humility. The Prophet ﷺ, when he heard about, you know, war strategies coming from the people who are not Arabs, he took from them. He took from them because this is good. Everything, al-hikmatu dallatul Muslim fa'lan, is just, wisdom is the lost property of the Muslims. Take it from wherever it comes. Don't just be, you have to take all the good ideas. But on one point you are right, not with an inferiority complex. Not with not trusting yourself. Not by thinking that the others are always thinking better than you. No, you need to be consistent, you need to be confident, to trust your own principles, and to take the good from wherever it comes. This is what I think is the reality. But I'm sorry, some of us are only reading books that are written by Muslims and published in Muslim countries, and not reading books coming from others. This is not knowledge. When we see the greatness of the Islamic civilization was able to take from the Greek, to take from the Christians, to take from the Jews, and to say, this is us. We are not scared of knowledge. We are scared of ignorance. I'm scared of ignorance. When I see some Muslims, the way they are ignorant about their own religion and the way they are ignorant about their own history, it's scary. It's very scary. Because you say, where are we heading with all this? So we better come to this knowledge and try to work on it as something which is an important challenge. In exile, political exile, they put me in a state school system. And the second book I was given after the Quran is a book of French poetry by Alfred de Musset, by my mother, who didn't understand a word of what was said, but she understood that this is poetry and it's good, because this was not her take on poetry at that time, but she liked the way it was said. And in fact, you are right on one thing. If we are serious about the fact to be someone in a society, you know, in the book, what I believe, I have this approach of the 3 L's that are necessary. If you want to be a citizen and a loyal and an autonomous citizen, you need to go by the 3 L's. The first is to abide by the law of the country, law. The second is to know the language of the country. The languages, if you can, but at least the language, the official language. Why? Because there is no freedom as citizens if you don't speak the language of the country. Broken English in Britain or broken French in France or even here broken Malay or English in this country is not going to help you to be an independent citizen. You should be able to speak. You should be able to express yourself. And the third L is loyalty. And loyalty is to make it clear. If you are a Malaysian citizen, that what you want is the best for your society. You are a loyal... This is why I started like this, by saying, don't put me in the political landscape. Understand that my position, if I am a loyal citizen, if I want the better for this society, is to criticize everything which is wrong. Loyalty is always critical loyalty. It's not blind loyalty. Blind loyalty is racist, sectarianism, not acceptable. Blind loyalty is dangerous. Critical loyalty is, you are right, I follow. You are wrong, I stand up. This is the way we should be. So 3 L's, and as a Swiss citizen with my children, I tried to push them to speak good French and to add languages to languages. So it's not only to speak French, but to speak Arabic and to speak English, and if they can speak more, Spanish will come soon. So this is the way. It's important in our knowledge, in our way we deal with the society, in mainstream school system. If you read my book, Western Muslims and the Future of Islam, on this, I have some reservation about the way some are thinking about Islamic schools. But I'm not against in principle. It depends how you think about it. What is the philosophy behind it? Is it the schools to segregate the Muslims, or is it a school to celebrate the Islamic principles? It's not the same. These are two different attitudes.